Okay, we'll try to cover up all the points. In web authoring, initially what you're supposed to know is that you have 3 layers in your website development. You have is the content layer, then you have the presentation, and then you have the behavior. The content is done through HTML, which means whenever you have to add information to a web page, which includes tables, images, videos, sounds, all this information that you put on a website is basically the content layer done through HTML. The second layer that you have is the presentation layer. The presentation basically means to format the structure of a website. So whenever you have to format, apply different styles to it, this is done through CSS. So presentation layer will obviously consist of CSS, okay, where you apply formatting, add a structure, add a format to a web page. The last layer, which is not within our context, we will not be discussing it practically, but you should know it, is the behavior. Behavior means JavaScript. JavaScripting basically means to add basically a life to a page, to make the page interact with the user. Now, interacting with the user basically means, for example, validating a form. Okay, whenever you validate a form in HTML form on a web page, admission form, or when you sign up for a new account, email account, you have to enter some details. So if you don't enter some of the details, it will tell you that you are entering wrong information. Now, since you enter wrong information and the web page lets you know, this means the web page is talking to you, it's trying to tell you, its behavior, it has a behavior. So you are adding a life to a page. This is technically how we talk about a behavior layer. Behavior layer is something we will not discuss in IGCSE ICT. So we'll talk about HTML and CSS today. JavaScript, yes, theoretically you should know it, practically no. So initially I will just start with CSS. The reason why we create a CSS file is to have the same structure, the same format for a web page. I want to make a website that is of 1000 pages. I want each and every page to have the same format, the same table structure, the same paragraph, the same body, everything has to be the same. So obviously it would be a very nonsense part that if I go to HTML and define all the formatting in HTML, it doesn't make sense at all. So it's much better I make a CSS file and I link my CSS file with all HTML files. So if I make a change in my CSS file automatically, you know changes will occur in my HTML file. So what we do is, I will create the following for you. You do know that we have tags, h1. You can define h1 such as the following. You can define this as this, the color as this, size as this, block, alignment, center, right. Then I can define from here is, let's say, paragraph, and I can define this as this color, this font, this size, bold, block, left. I will save this as on my desktop as web, and we always save our first page as index.html. Please be aware of that. You know that the first page of the web page will always be saved as index.html, so I'll save it. I'll go to file, new. I'll create now the content. I will save the same file as index.html. It's fine. I have the first page of my website has to be index.html. Okay, because this is the way it is. Okay. Now what I'll do is, for example, if I type over here is heading 1, heading 2, which is paragraph, so I can select this, make it heading 1, and this is paragraph. So now if I come here and if I attach this file with this, automatically you can see changes are occurring. This was for your CSS file. Before I discuss with you classes in CSS, okay, I'll discuss this more. You know, the border collapse thing in tables, the border collapse. Let me revise that as well. Now, if I see, what will I do? I will create over here is a table tag. Okay. I would like this table to have a solid 4-point blue border. Okay, and I would like this table inside cells to have solid border 2-point, and it should be red. You get my point? The table's outer border has to be blue 4-point, but the table's inside cells borders, the lines, the grid lines, will be this much. So this means actually that if you want to define the inside of a table, it will be done in TD, and if you want to define the outside of a table, it will be done in table tag. Remember that. Okay. Now let me save this. Let me come here and let me insert over here a table. This much and this much. Here you go. Let me hit F12 to view this in the browser, and let's have a look. What do we have? You can see over here I have a table, and you can see in my table I have the outer as 4-point, but the inner is 2-point, and it's red. So one point is clear that your outside border, if it has to be tempered, is done in the table tag, and the inside cells, if they have to be tempered, if they have to be changed, will be done in the TD tag, not the TR tag. Yes or no? The next point that I want to discuss with you is resume. Now, what you can see is I have separate borders for the cell. I want these to be combined. Are you following me? I'll show you again. Look over here. Do you see over here? This cell has its own border. This cell has its own border. I don't want this. I want a single line to separate these. A single line appearing over here. So I want to collapse the borders. Very simple. What you do is you come to CSS within the table tag. Just specify over here is border collapse and just collapse it. So now if I save it, but what you see is not always what you get. So you will not see it over here. So if I hit F12 and if I view this in the browser, you see what's happening? The border has collapsed. I'll repeat that. All I did was I just entered just press enter and define. You can see over here border collapse and collapse. Now obviously you might be thinking, if this is a different thing that came in, so obviously there could be more things that could come in. Yes, there could be. There are lists of many other things in CSS that can come in. I am not discussing all of these before you send up. Generally, once you come back, I will discuss these advanced points. मैं पहले भी आपको बताया हुआ, which are not part. It's not mentioned in the book, but they can come. When border collapse came first time, it was not there in the previous edition. It's not fair, but it happened. So we have to do more things. I'm telling you. Okay? We cannot only stick to the book. जो कुछ book में है, सिर्फ वही तैयारी करनी है. Book में जो कुछ है, सब कुछ करना है. उसके अलावा भी करना थोड़ा सा. ठीक है ना? So send up तक I'm only concentrating whatever is in the syllabus. I'm not going beyond that. Send up के बाद January में हम थोड़ा सा आगे पढ़ना शुरू करें. ठीक है? Okay. Is this point clear? Then there is something known as classes. Classes are something very important, and classes something I believe is the far सकते हैं. जी कर दिए. Okay. TD is for the internal. This is all TD. This is all TD. This entire thing inside a table is TD. TD stands for two things. You know that. It stands for table data and table column. In order to insert a column in a table, You can add a column through TD.
We are talking about the column is a solid. TD column is a solid.
The border is solid.
Right. TD border is
No, solid actually means you can have over here is dotted as well. Apply. तो वो dotted आ जाएगा.
और वो simple आ जाएगा तो simple आएगा.
You can have dotted, you can have dashed, you can have grooved. There are lots of other options. आप कोई भी options select कर सकते हैं. Solid means it's straight line. Okay. Classes is a very strong concept, and frankly, without classes, CSS does not have a lot of power. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll just give you a very simple example that I always give to explain classes. I will do something is, I will come here, and you can see I have defined over here is a table tag. Yes or no? What if someone says, so as I was saying, forgot, classes. The reason why we use classes is I have just one table over here. What if I say you have to make 3-4 different designs of table in CSS? How would you do it? I want a table for premium members. This background hoga yellow because premium has to be yellow, the best color in the world. Then the standard hoga will be red, or the basic hoga that will be blue. Yes or no? I don't blue. Okay. So how can you do it? You can't do it in normal tags. How can you do it? Because आप इधर देखो, इधर तो मैं table define कर रहा हूँ ना. That's it. There is only, if you come here and if you define a tag, you can see in this list I just have one table tag. That's it. This means there's just one table definition. What if I want 3 different definition of table? What do I do? For this, your classes come for rescue. How? I can define over here is table format 1. Okay, remember I selected class. Okay, Kia? So this table will have a background of yellow. Okay, and I can type the font of this color inside this. Apply. And you will see your classes start with a dot table format. Here I will define another class and I will name it as a table format 2, and this table format 2 will have a background of red and text which is in white. Apply. Right? I'll just try to manage with 2. You can create as many as you want to. I'll come back here. What I will do is I will add another table. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll select this table, and you can see over here I have table format 1. I can select this table and I have table format 2. Yes or no? That's not all. You can even do is, if you look at the coding, what's happening? Take a look at the coding. TD class this. Her TD के अंदर उसकी class has been defined. TD class this, TD class this. This means now I can even do this is कि जो center 2 rows हैं उनको मैं करता हूँ इस class में और ऊपर वालों को करता हूँ इस class में. So I can have as many as H1 tags, as many as paragraph tags, as many as any tag available. I have no limitation now. So it's a reusability power of class. And it's very much in your syllabus and very much probability it might come. Clear? Okay. So I give a very simple example. You can take it into any context. Okay. Any tag. Is it clear? Very good. Okay. So this is as far as your now I need to discuss about images. If I insert, now I can insert images at in a page different ways. Please listen to this carefully. I'm recording this lecture, but it's important. Page properties में आओ, background image में आओ, and let me insert this in the background. I've inserted this in the background, but I have tiling. If I want to get rid of the tile, So tiling, I have to, very good, I have to make sure that my screen resolution is equal to the size of the image. You know, do it in Photoshop. Anyone has a problem? Or should I do it? Huh? I don't know. Okay. Do you see this image appearing again and again? Don't you see it's a form of a tile? So it's known as tiling. Yes. So how do we get rid of it? My screen resolution right now sorry. Oh, where is the graphic option? Where? The previous one? Now see, my current resolution is which one? Exactly. I can change my resolution. Oh, sure I can. But I don't have to change my resolution. If the examiner says that make sure you don't have tiling, for that you have to change the size of the image according to your current resolution. So मैं क्या करूँगा? I will go to Photoshop, I will open that image in Photoshop and I will change my resolution to 1280 by 1024. Are you getting my point? So if I change the size of my image to the following resolution, tiling नहीं आएगी. You get the point? Okay. So this means we can get rid of tiling if we know the resolution of our screen and we make the size of our image equal to the size of the resolution wherever we're viewing the web page. Is this point clear? Now this entire thing is done through HTML. Maybe the examiner emphasizes on the fact that you are inserting a background, okay? But the background that you're inserting, you're not inserting the background through HTML. The background that you insert, the background that exactly is through CSS. So I'll go to CSS. I will define is a tag. I will define a tag over here is a body tag. And in my body tag, I will define the following background. Yes or no? Apply. If I save it, I get the background. But now this background is appearing through CSS. You get the point? Now, if you look over here closely, if I edit this, I have something known as repeat, no repeat. If I make it no repeat, obviously I get no repetition. But the image is at the background, but without any repetition. I can change this to even more. I can change this to repeat x-axis, which means I have a repetition but x-axis. I could do is, I could even repeat this to y-axis, or I could repeat this. You get the point? So please try to emphasize on the fact, try to understand, examiner is asking you to do the paper according to what? HTML, CSS. Or the examiner has given you the liberty to do it on your own. Okay? If the examiner does give you the liberty to do it on your own, I personally prefer you do it with CSS. You get the point? Obviously there's an advantage. Okay? Right. So, this was according to this. Now, one more thing. Lists. Examiner could even ask you to create is a list. Now, if I create a list over here, li, I will define the list should be disk, apply. So if I come here and if I define some text over here, yes or no, right? Now what I want is कि bullet points आए, मगर these bullet points जो आए ना वो आए through CSS. मैं काम करता हूँ, प्लीज इस कॉन्सेप्ट को अच्छे से समझ लो. Now if I directly apply over here, इससे क्या हो रहा है कि and let me select this and let me have is number. You see there's a problem over here. I want number list to appear here, ordered list. I'm trying to do it. I want this. You get the point. You know what's ordered list and what's unordered list? Ordered list is that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, Roman 1, 2, 3. Unordered list is when you get bullet points. In CSS, I defined was unordered list. This is unordered list. Over here, in HTML, I came here, I wrote something, I applied over here is this and this. You can see over here in the code क्या हो रहा है? UL define हुआ है, OL define हुआ है. OL, LI, sorry, UL and then close UL. Then OL, define things, then close OL. You could further do is, you could even define UL type is equals to square and OL type is equals to A. You get the point? A, B, C, D. समझ आएगी बात की? Till here any problem? I just wrote something. इसको मैंने किया ये. I wrote something. इसको मैंने किया ये. One was unordered list. One was ordered list. Any problem? If I go back to the coding, I am saying is I can say OL. I can define the type. Ordered list की type क्या हो? This. Then I can come here. Unordered list. I would like this type to be square. But once I come back, it doesn't work. You're getting my point? देखो, ordered list में exactly. If I have defined this over here, the following things, this means the following things should appear A, B, C, D. This means the following should appear as bullet points. But क्या हो रहा है? It's not appearing. This is also appearing in bullets. This is also appearing in bullets, which is wrong. I have defined one section as ordered. I have defined one section as unordered. Okay, this point is important. Are you getting the point? How to deal with this case? This could come. Now, what I'll do is, why is it not working? Can you tell me why? Why do you think so now? Very good. Because in CSS, I have defined is unordered list. So, whenever you use a CSS file, and whenever you define the formatting in a CSS file, if you define the formatting in CSS and if you define the formatting in HTML, the formatting in CSS will be given preference to. पहले CSS की formatting को preference दी जाएगी. No matter if I am doing formatting even in HTML, you get my point. So since I have attached my HTML file with CSS file, so whatever formatting I have defined the CSS file, वो पहले उसको देखेगा. वहाँ जाकर देखेगा, वहाँ तो मैंने this define किया हुआ है. वहाँ I have only defined is unordered list. I have not defined is an ordered list. So what is the solution to the problem? The solution to the problem is, the only thing you have to do is, over here you'll write is comma decimal. I will save it, come back, and it's working. So all you do is CSS file में जाके this के बाद लिख देना comma decimal, because within your CSS के उसमें you can't do it. अब coding में you have to type this yourself. Comma decimal. So this means now in my CSS file I have defined कि this को भी accept करे और decimal को भी accept करे. Decimal goes for ordered list. This का मतलब obviously unordered list. Is the point clear? Sure? Good. Right. So we can proceed further now. This small, this. Yeah, bullet points, exactly. This, circle, square, bullet points. Huh? This, exactly. Unordered list. Okay. Yes. So, you are aware of the following. Now, if you, at times they will ask you to set the size of a cell. Well, the best way to set, is that you go to coding, और coding में आके आप हर TD and TR के अंदर खुद manually set कर लो. Which means width is equal to this much, height is equal to this much. You could even obviously do is, you could simply come here and you could enter the height and the width here. But at times, if it doesn't work, you can go to the coding. There aren't many cells, maximum 7 to 8. I would suggest kept TDML, and over here, right over here, width is equals to how much, and then height is equals to how much. Sorry. Right? Now, this is done. Then there's another point about linking, which probably you are aware of. You do know we can define an anchor over here. I can name it as top. Okay. I can come at the very bottom. Okay. And I could link this to the top by typing number top. So this means every time I click on this, it takes me to the top. We can even drag, but what if you have a very lengthy page, then what? You can simply do this and you can drag it. There you go. So you can click, drag, and you can drop it on this. It's annoying. So since you know you've named it as top, just refer to it as number sign top. Number sign top basically means remain within the same page and go to a line that has been named as top. And you know what anchoring is all about? Anchoring all about is naming every line of your web page. My web page might consist of 1000 lines. I want to go to the 621st line. How do I know? So I will go and I will name this as that. Okay, you see 72, 72. So I can name this as, let's say, bottom. So this means, here you go, this line has been given a name. So this means every time I want to refer to this section of the page, I can refer to this section of the page. What was I doing right now? Okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, all I did was, I want to come to the bottom of the page. So when I clicked over here, I'll write over here is, let's say below, and I will write over here is go to the end of the page. Okay, right? Select this and write over here is number below. So if I hit F12, you can even drag it. Here you go. So this is known as internal referencing. Wikipedia वगैरह इन websites में, where there's a lot of information and you want all that information to be divided into different context, different sections. We prefer using over here is anchoring. Okay, that's how we do it. When you have different pages, page 1, page 2, page 3, HTML pages, and you want these pages to open up, over there we use external linking. External linking basically means, for example, do I have a page? I'll just show you. For example, this one. I'll just copy this and I'll bring it here. Replace. No, I want to replace this. Where do you go? I'll get this one. Copy. I have another page, so I could link this to untitled 2. So if I hit F12 and click on this, takes me to that page, because I have linked this to a different page. If I type something in target, anything in the target, which basically means I'm opening up in a new window. It's a virtual window. It opens up in a new tab, a new window. Now many students ask me a question, okay sir, I don't see the Cucamonga phobia typed in. Yeah, you can't see that Cucamonga phobia, obviously. Okay, that is virtual. It's not the title of a page, it's just virtual. It means this link opens up in a new tab, that's it. You get the point? Good. Then you have something known as email. You get a question that when you click on this, it should open up to mail to Mr. Saem yahoo.com, and the subject is equals to nothing. I was talking to myself. Okay, so if I press F12, Outlook, ठीक है. No. Okay, anyway, it's not configured right now, but I've shown you the code, haven't I? Huh? No, you have to remember it. क्या? Huh? Beta, I'm not asking you to remember at least 100 lines, just one line. Mail to colon email address. Exactly. There you go. So question mark subject this, ठीक है. फिर उसके बाद ampersand sign. ये optional है. This is something I'm telling you in advance. Probably आएगा नहीं मगर आ सकता है. Please you should know it. If you want CC and BCC to be there as well. You know what CC and BCC is? Blind carbon copy and carbon copy. So this means send the email to the following and send a blind carbon copy to the following. Yes or no? ठीक है? याद कर लो, बेहतर है. Is it clear? Yeah, but बाकी सारा same होगा. Okay, should I continue or you want to write down? You want to write it down? What's the phone ringing? Phone ring हो रहा था ना? अच्छा आगे कर. Thank you. हाँ? कर लिया? हाँ. नहीं अभी नहीं बनाया. फिर खत्म होगा. 5 मिनट खा गई. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is being recorded. Vika, okay. RGB, listen please carefully. Well, let's say I want the background color of this to be. Examiner says red should be 50%, blue should be 100%, green should be 10%. All of you are aware of the fact that if I write 6 hexadecimal code, in all zeros it means black, which means 000000 is black. RGB. So 2 numbers are for R, 2 for G, 2 for B. You are aware of that. If I write all F, it means white. So 0 is black, all F is white. This means if I want is pure blue, so I exactly. Let's first talk about this. If I want pure blue, pure red, I will write is FF. If I want is pure green, if I want pure blue, any problem? This is how we define pure colors. ठीक हो गया? Right? Now, this is not an issue. You know how to define pure RGB, you know how to define black, you know how to define white. Now what I'm talking about is, if you look at your book says that your 75% is basically C0, 50% is 80, 25% is 40. But frankly speaking, I will tell you a much better way, and I will prove it my way is right. Because you cannot cram all the values. What if the examiner says 52%? What if the examiner says 26%? Then what? Will you remember all these 100 values? It's not possible, no? Let's see how will we do it. Well, I'll tell you. एक काम करते हैं. I will write over here is 255. 255 को पता है ना? 255 means FF. FF is equal to 255, which means the purest form. It starts from 0 and goes till 255. ठीक है? Right. So, if I want over here, if I open my calculator, और अगर मैं करता हूं 255 divided by 2, 127.5. हाफ चाहिए ना? 50% RGB, 50% रेड चाहिए मुझे, तो 127.5 आ गया. राउंड इट अप, 128 हो गया. सो व्हाट आई विल डू इज, मैं इधर आऊंगा, 128. सो कम हियर and write over here 128. ग्रीन को कर देते हैं 75%. Let's experiment. 75%. So this means if I want 75% of 255, I will do is 0.75 multiplied by 255, 191, which means 192. क्योंकि मैंने कहा है we will round it up. How do you calculate 75% of 0.75 multiplied by 255 is 75% of, yes or no, basic maths. So 192 is what I'm talking about. So this means, here you go, I will make this 192. Blue को कर देते हैं 25%. So I'll come here, 25%. I want 25% of 255, so 0.25 multiplied by 255, sorry, 0.25 multiplied by 255 is equals to 63.75, 64. So I have over here is 64. You get the point? Any number, I'll just show you. ये हो गया. What did I say? 80C040. 80C040. I proved it कि जो बुक वाला कह रहा है हमारा तरीका भी वही है. It's working perfectly fine. This means if the examiner says you have to find, let's say, 28%. So all you do is 0.28 multiplied by 255, 72. If the examiner says over here is 82%, 0.82 multiplied by 255, 210. So this is all about RGB.